Okay, before you click out of this video, you gotta tell me something. You gotta tell me, whose bones are you smoking? Now, I assume if you're here, you're probably one of my homies. Maybe you haven't read it yet, maybe you have. If you haven't, we'll get to that, about why they're smoking bones. And I'm not talking about BJs, but if you have read it, you know what I'm talking about. So, basically the gist is, whose bones are you going to be smoking? So you can experience a little bit of what they did. I feel like you got to go with a historical figure, because, like, what? Everybody else, everybody now, they're not conquering anything. Do we have any conquerors anymore? I don't think so. I want to see some shit being conquered. So you know what, I'm probably going to go with, like, Alexander the Great, Augustus Caesar, Augustus the Superior Caesar, definitely over Julius. Or I'd go real freaky with it, go with like Caligula or something. Or, you know what, I could go, because I like art, I'll say Caravaggio. But then I'd be watching a motherfucker paint. Is that interesting? I'm smoking a bone, so maybe I should go a little bit crazier. So tell me, whose bones are you smoking? On Instagram, sometimes I take pictures of the comics I get. This guy commented that he would smoke Cullen Bunn's bone, which is, whoa. And I was like, I wasn't talking about sucking dick, and he was like, I would suck that fucking dick! And I was like, whoa, hold on, this is my Instagram, it's crazy. But you don't have to kill him. I just said you could break off a finger or something if you gotta deal with Cullen Bunn, and then you gotta blow his bone smoke it back into his face. So, whose bones are you smoking? Now let's just get into Bone Parish. Now, I saw the cover for this, and I was like, I am in. Even though I'm not really into skulls, there's something about this, and I feel like with the addition of the razor blade, I'm in. So let's just see what the fuck this is about. So we see we're in New Orleans, or as it's incorrectly pronounced by the locals, Nolans. I've actually went to New Orleans when I was like 8 or something, so I don't feel like that counts. But my feet have been there, so if your feet haven't been there, I am superior to you, and you need to listen to everything I fucking say. So we see this guy, he's standing in the middle of the street, which, number one, that's a good way to fucking get murdered. Especially in New Orleans. I feel like this looks like, Bourbon Street, French Quarter type of place. And I feel like that's where a lot of murders happen. Just saying, we got bikers here, that's not good. So he's hearing this song, we see, uh-oh. He starts singing this song, and it's, bro, you gotta, like, I feel like New Orleans has a lot of stuff that's illegal, but it isn't. Like, we know there's just whores walking everywhere around here, and there's just drugs being thrown at your face all the time, but have a sense of decorum. Just get that out. Put it on your finger and put it on your gums, like a real man. And then we cut to this, we see, oh, this guy's actually singing the song. He's having some vision. I'm not into that. I'm not into singers who go barefoot. I don't think I've ever... Oh, maybe. I feel like I've seen Dan Briggs from Between the Buried and Me play with his shoes off, and you know what? It was probably really disgusting. Very, very rude, Daniel. So he's singing this song, and the lyrics are fucking murder my soul with betrayal. And these people are like, wow, man. That song fucking sucks. I hope you're not smoking that man's bones, because there are literally so many better songwriters out there that you could have been smoking their bones. Murder our love with your lust. Okay, this has to be from a bygone era. Also, this guitarist is straight up somebody's grandpa. And we got old-ass Ryu on the drums. So he's in the middle of the street. He's feeling it. Death ain't tearing you away from me. And eventually, I gotta skip a couple pages, but he's in the street, and people are like, woo, dude, smoking the ash, bruh. And these, just white as fuck kids come up to this guy whose name is Dante, which, very clever. I feel like if you're into some nefarious shit and you run into a guy named Dante, number one, he's probably on some sort of holy unholy mission to get his girl back, named B, aka Beatrice, but we don't call her that because that name's, it's pretty whack, it's pretty played out. It's not even played out, it's just like, that's the one, and then we're like, no more women named Beatrice. It's for ugly girls, and you can't even pretend that it's not. Or I'm thinking of Clerks, and I gotta listen to this guy whine all the time. So just be aware of anyone named Dante. Just be aware that you probably don't want to be around him. So these kids come up looking to score some ash. And he's like, the ash? Because, you know, you're a drug dealer, you gotta play it coy a little sometime. Maybe this bitch is a fucking cop. And they're explaining what it does. It makes you see things. See, hear, taste, feel. You don't just see things. You experience them. So, everyone keep in mind, whose bones are you smoking? Because, you know, I went with Augustus Caesar, but that could be very nasty. Just because, yeah, but I feel like the royal Romans, they might not have had toilet paper, but, you know, they were, like, wiping their hands with cut off slave hands or something. I feel like they were more cleanly than the plebes, and that's actually what they were called. You live them, but you gotta be willing to pay the price, because this trip, it's gonna cost you. And I ask you, does New Orleans have a d.a.r.e. program? Because apparently this shit is some hardcore shit. I'm just saying, can we get some d.a.r.e. officers down here on Bourbon Street alerting the children to the dangers of ash ketchum. So, they sort of, it doesn't matter, go skip these couple pages, but apparently this guy's now tapped out. He phones up his boss and he's like, yo, I don't know why I want this guy to be like, yo, dog, I'm all out of ash, bruh. Like, that's not even New Orleans at all. It'd just be like, crab legs, bon swamp. That's my impression. Lindsey Park's impression of a native to New Orleans. Thank you. I am bowing. Look at that. But he calls up his boss and he's like, I'm fresh out. I need some more. And he's like, I'll get it. And then we cut to see, how this operation is done. Also, I just want to give this guy a shout out to bundling up a skeleton just because it's cold. Shout out to you, man. You the real MVP. We see all these people are just digging up. Wow, man. You know your shit is serious when you have those, like, athletic stretchers, you know? Or just, like, straight up any army stretcher of all time. I feel like the army has not updated the stretcher technology in forever. We're like, pole, piece of canvas, done. Let's keep building fucking bombers. This is standard. We don't have to even try to improve upon that. So we see they're in a graveyard in the middle of the night. A lot of people digging up these bones, breaking into mausoleums. And he's like, hey, this is taking too long. And one of the brothers, he tells his brother, like, hey, you don't have to actually break into the mausoleums. We pay these bitches to do that. And he's like, I ain't forgotten where I come from. Now, I gotta assume that this guy, his name is Leon, maybe he's a little bit into the necrophilia, because look, I've been thinking about it. At any moment I could devolve into a gravedigger, alright? Sometimes you gotta be honest with yourself. A gravedigger, a grave robber. I'm close. I feel like I'm closer to becoming a grave robber than, like, having a real career, like a real adult. I'm closer to grave robber. Now, if I get in a situation where I'm building up this operation, and I no longer have to be hands-on, I'm going to take that. Because I don't really want to be touching skeletons. I mean, in a do-or-die situation, I'll fondle the shit out of those skeletons. But if I have employees, I'm going to let them do it. I'm not going to do it myself. So, Leon, your behavior is questionable. Also, wow, man, breaking into a mausoleum, I bet that shit stinks like, oh god. Like you wouldn't fucking believe. So then we see that the mom is waiting on her boys to come back home because it's taking too long. Because why does it have to be 6 feet? Who decided that? Why not 3? Why not 2? Why aren't they just robbing crematoriums? Because I feel like, is that too easy? Or is it the visual of the digging in the graves? I don't know. Maybe we get more into it. But we see the mom is the head of the operation, which, when I see, okay, let's be real. I see a tiny little white lady and a big ass black dude, and their husband and wife. I'm gonna ask you, which one is the head of the operation? This guy. This fucking guy. Also, he has a cane. If you have a cane, I'm gonna automatically assume you're the boss. I am constantly being taken advantage of by the elderly, because, you know, become subservient to them when I see them on the street, and then I get into all sorts of wacky situations, and then I'm like, holy shit, what did I even think he was the boss of? The sidewalk? Now my mouth tastes unclean. But this goes along with the thing. I'm not gonna spoil it for anybody, but I don't want to call it a trope. There's one really glaring example that everybody knows of an example of a thing that happens, but to me, I've seen this done. What happens so many fucking times, it's a trope to me, so that when I watch a specific type of movie, I'm on the lookout for it. But they got me with this one. You got me with this one. Cullen Bunn. So they're waiting on that. They arrive back at the house, and wow, this really is a family affair. This brother right here, his name is Bray, which I don't know what the fuck, if that is short for something, but his sister with the glasses, she's the one who's making the ash. I assume there's some like weird ass voodoo they do to it. Like, I don't know, maybe you put some like Cajun seasoning on it and then it makes the experience even crazier. I don't know, we don't really get into it. But he thinks they should be charging more, which hell yeah. Yeah. You should at least be paying the labor on digging a 6-foot hole, and then just for the thing of just getting a hold of dead bodies. But then I ask you, because in my mind I'm like, oh, it's really hard to get a dead body. Even though, I mean, realistically, dead bodies are the hardest thing to get rid of. So much that, you know, we have so many laws about it. But then, when I'm like, okay, it's hard to get dead bodies and skeletons and stuff. But then when you look around and you say every alive body is 1 second away from being a dead body, then they're everywhere. Then, you know, the labor, maybe you don't need to charge so much because there's so many people, but I guess the risk of it. And then I'm just saying, like, is the ground also adding to the flavor of the ash? Because you could just kill someone, dump them in a vat of acid, then you got the bones, you grind them up, you're ready to go. It's like a 45-minute job tops. You don't have to be digging any holes, less employees, everybody gets more pay, more benefit. I'm just saying, bring me into the operation. Because I can kill, I will murder. But if you have to have the ground seasoning, the terra firma spices. What do you think? Do you think New Orleans graveyard tastes different than like an Arkansas graveyard? I don't know. Somebody test it out. Not me, because gross. But she's all for charging more, because yeah, we're talking about smoking people. Should cost more than weed. But she's like, look, we're not ready for mass production, and she controls that shit. She's the one doing it. And she's got a skull on her door, which, again, be on the lookout for anyone who's really into skulls. And we get in her laboratory, we see, yeah, they're not ready for mass production at all. You're going to need a factory, you're going to need, you know what, actually, if they just move this thing to Germany, I know some lovely old crematoriums that they could probably repurpose for this exact thing. She's got bones here, she's got a bookcase, which, do you think she's reading for pleasure down here? Do you think she's reading for pleasure down here? I know that's not a microwave, but let's pretend it's a microwave. Is she eating down here? Is she eating down here? Fucking crazy. But I mean, I know, it's just copies of Grey's Anatomy. Just like 20 copies of Grey's Anatomy. And there's a dead body. She's looking at it. She thinks, do I have time to fuck this corpse before I have to do whatever voodoo I do to it? Probably not, but she's got some goop here, which leads me to believe there might be some weirdo scientific stuff. The mom and dad come back in, they're talking about the production thing, and then the mom goes to a meeting with this guy. I feel like every building in New Orleans looks like a plantation. So she's meeting with this guy because she thinks he wants to buy some ash. And when you're, like, upscale, you don't meet on the street. You meet in a nice restaurant that the drug dealer lady has rented out. But it turns out he's trying to buy the whole goddamn operation, which, you know what? I would sell that shit in a heartbeat. It's too much. I feel like normal people shouldn't be around skeletons. And you're like, whoa, Lindsey, I'm a mortician. I'm like, whoa, dog. Yeah, I got a lot of questions. You're fine, but just, you know, if it's not your profession, and even if it is your profession, it's a little sketchy. If you're a mortician, you probably lie about your job, and you know what? That's fine. Keep doing that, because But you have to keep that forever. Because you can't, like, date someone for a year and then you'd be like, oh, by the way, I don't work at the zoo. I'm a mortician. She's fucking gone, dude. She thinks you're about to murder her. But he wants to buy the whole thing. Because he's like, look, you don't have the resources to really get this thing going. I'm going to do it. And she's like, oh, it's a family business. Which, what the fuck, dog? I guess if you say a family business, you better been doing this shit for centuries. Because if you just started this shit last year, not really a family business, even though it is family, I don't care. And we see this, the lobsters. And now we finally get to see what the ash actually does. See this guy from before? He's snorting it. Well, yeah, okay. I'm more of a smoking the ash person. But still, you can smoke it, you can snort it, you can rub it on your gums. You can put it in a needle, inject it in between your toes. Any way you want to do it, just tell me who you're smoking. We see he, oh, and I forgot to mention, but whoever's bones you smoke, it affects what you see. So apparently he smoked the bones of, like, maybe just a regular guy who went to strip clubs all the time. And he's like, oh shit, I'm filming these kisses. I love kisses and would pay for them, which I'm about to ask a question over here. Oh, they're just, did he need that? I mean, we got a lot of intestines. Like, when I heard that fact about, oh, our intestines would reach the moon. Bullshit, NASA. Prove it. But what I'm asking here is, okay, so he wanted some kisses, which who doesn't want some kisses? Why didn't he just get a regular hooker? Like, all whores are going ashore in New Orleans, you know what I'm saying? There's so many whores there, everywhere. If I went to New Orleans, I would instantly feel like, am I a whore now? I think I might be a whore, just from the air, from the voodoo, from the Cajun seasoning everywhere. Why didn't he just get a regular whore? Maybe because they might have STDs, got to deal with a pimp, got to deal with them robbing you or stabbing you or something. But, like, the risk, I feel like a regular whore isn't going to kill you. And then it ends. I don't know if I'm going to pick up issue 2. I like where this is going, but, you know, I'm just unsure about it. Tell me if you want me to read issue 2 or not. I'll leave this one up to you guys.